I'm sober since Memorial Day for a year. We'd gone out with some friends to a brewery, and dude, I think I had like 20 drinks or something like that, and then went home and smoked like 5 times. I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing this. I have no idea why. I was just like, this isn't working at all. I'm hiding all of this. But also it's like this business I've started, it seems like it's going really well, and like family is good. I had decided at that point, like, I think I'm just gonna stop for a while. So after coming clean, I was like, no, I'm done. Like, I just realized like how much damage I have done.
Welcome back to A Hard Reset. I'm so excited about today because I have my good friend Garrett on, and Garrett is the mastermind behind our marketing ploy, which is a little bit of this podcast, but also like our website. He helps us with Google and all these things, but he's also my sister's brother-in-law.
Yeah, how are we related? Like, is there a word for it? Because I'm married to Meg's brother's, your sister's.
I think it would be really cool if we
husband.
did, like, during this conversation, we wrote out, like, Meg. And then Meg's relation to Garrett and, like, the family tree.
Yeah, Meg,
are we
your
second
sister,
cousins?
I don't know how that works. That's what I'm asking now.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think we're related.
We're not related, but we're connected. Like, my sister-in-law is your sister.
Yes.
So we're both uncles to the same
Boy,
niece, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
It's so fun.
Yeah. It's great being an uncle. And I remember where we met. Do you remember where we met?
Were we at one of the Johnson Easter parties or something like that?
It was.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lily.
Love Lily, man.
Yeah. I remember seeing you, like, you always have this picture of, like, well, one, like, those of you that don't know, like, his wife, dad is like this big time attorney, right? So you think about like an attorney, prim and proper, like, and then we know Lily, who is the mother of your wife and the mother of my sister's husband. Again, I think we have to go back to that family tree. But
there's a diagram, right?
Yeah. But she was a great hostess.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, I meet you and I'm like instantly connected to you because, like, you're tatted up and I've always wanted to have a tat. Not really, but it was just like I wasn't anticipating like this, right? I was like, this guy's cool as a fan. Like, look at your shirt. Like, this is the real. You're
I'm
the
dressed
real
like
deal.
a finish line.
Yeah, and I'm. You are the finish line, and I'm dressed like a roofer. And here we are. So I have to ask you like this question that I didn't privy you to this, but what's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh man, my biggest pet peeve. That's tough. I feel like I'm pretty laid back.
You are very much.
I'm pretty laid back. Like, I have a very long fuse. It takes me a lot to like really get pissed. But
do you bottle that until like you just pop?
Sometimes. But like, I would say like if I tell you I'm gonna do something, let's say like I'll tell you like, hey, I'll get this to you by tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
And then you like continually ask like, hey, when's that coming? When's that coming? And it's like, I've already told you.
Yeah. Tomorrow
Like,
afternoon.
that drives me insane.
The more I've asked people these questions, the more I'm like, oh, this is my pet peeve. So thank you for asking what my pet peeve is. The big thing that I've realized, it was trash in the sink, but it's buddy.
Buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, like being called. I don't like being called buddy by a stranger.
Bro, it is
demeaning.
It is demeaning.
Yeah.
Who's buddy? Like the 9, 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old. So I have this thing that I do with my voice. Like when I first meet someone, I'm like, hey, how are you, man? Like, great to hear. It gives everyone the permission to call me buddy. And I'm like, no. I'm just showing you voice inflection because I'm like interested in who you are. When sales guys call me buddy, this is my thing now. It's like I called a dealership the other day. Shout out to Jasper Ford. Actually don't, but this guy, I called him and I was like, hey man, I really like this truck you're looking at. He's like, buddy, I can make you a great deal.
Oh no, I don't like that already.
And this is what I do. I'm like, buddy, that sounds incredible, buddy. Buddy, could you do me a quick favor, buddy, and never call me buddy again? Because I'm not going to buy a truck from you, buddy, if you keep calling me buddy, because I don't think we're buddies yet. And he's like, understood.
Got it.
Like, don't call me buddy. I'm not your buddy.
People
Or
who do
bud
that,
or
they
chief.
ask like chief is another one. Anyone who calls you those names acts like they're doing you like the biggest favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that attitude where they're like, "Oh, what's up, chief? I got you." And it's like, no, we don't know each other.
Yeah, please don't. So this is to all the Guidos out there. Like, stop calling us buddy. Like, we're not your buddy. Like, it's such a, I don't know. It's not a term of endearment.
No.
So I want to ask you, like, growing up as a kid, like, what did you think that your life was going to look like? Did you think you'd have a sleeve or a partial sleeve?
Oh man, real quick, I thought of another pet peeve. Chewing sounds.
ASMR.
Like the worst.
Like chewing with their mouth open?
That, but just like even almost like that smacking, like old granny sound.
Can you do soup? Oh, 100%. Can you do soup with people?
Soup is fine.
My dad drinks his coffee like this.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I can't sit
loud.
next to him. It's not peaceful. Like, who slurps their coffee? No, chewing, smacking. I have a buddy of mine, and it's like all boys in the family. So they didn't grow up like with a lady in the house other than their mom. And they just like, it's
My son
worst.
does that, and I'm like, dude, you got to stop.
You're not going to be in this family.
Close your mouth.
Shout out to Theo.
Stop. Love that boy so much.
Yeah, he's a cool cat, man.
So going back to your question, though, did I think I was going to have a sleeve, or like how did I think life was going to turn out? I definitely knew I was going to get tattoos at some point.
At what age?
18, like as soon as I could. I have one on my foot that's like numbers for a Bible verse. It's
Never
just
change.
no, that's on my back.
You have a tramp stamp?
Yeah, that's my tramp stamp. Never change. Yeah, as soon as I could, I was like, I'm gonna go get a tattoo. And then when I was like 15, I gave myself one.
How do
like
you?
a straight up prison tat, where I was like,
Do you still have it?
no, I got it lasered off. It was a cross. So I had like gotten saved at that point.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit of a crazy teenager. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll get a cross. So like keep myself in check. Right.
You're like,
but
oh
it
yeah,
was
Jesus.
Like, it was like right here. So it's like in between where this one, like I knew I wanted to end this one. So I got it like lasered off, which for the record is like way more painful than getting it.
I heard it. It sucks.
It's terrible. I'll never forget. It was at the clinic or whatever. You get it like lasered off. And I was asking the guy, I was like, so who's like your like number one client? And he was like, brides to be, because they want to wear like, I guess like the backless dresses, but they have like never change or whatever as a tramp stamp.
Rodriguez.
Yeah. Right. But like they can't, they put like ice on you, like try to like, they can like numb your skin, but it's like a laser, right? That breaks up the ink that's in your layers of your skin, and then your body like naturally gets rid of it. But like he was telling me, they will have people pass out
From
because these like big tattoos, and they can't continue. So they literally like wake you back up, and they're like, "You're ready," and you have to continue.
Wait, they can't do it while you're passed out?
Because you can't consent while you're passed out.
No way. Did you pass out?
No, I mean it was terrible.
Was it a Bic? Was it Bic ink?
Yeah,
It was?
yeah. It was a prison tattoo, man. I sat there and like
Bro.
needled it in there.
Did that hurt? What hurt worse?
I would say getting it lasered off is the worst.
Wow.
I've got one on my back. Like
That must have been
that
weird.
one-
You were
that
just
one
like
was-
trusting yourself.
That's super easy. No, I didn't. I got that one done by a professional.
It's a dove, I promise.
Yeah. Cool. Would you get a tattoo? Like you said you wanted one, but what would you get? You don't have one.
Yeah, I know.
Never seen your lower back, so I don't know.
Later. I don't know, man. Like I've thought about like getting like my girls, and I've thought about, I don't know. I go back and forth. I don't think I'll ever end up getting one. My brother has one tattoo. It's green feet on his butt cheek. And short story, we were in Las Vegas at a casino of all places, and he's a special operator, as you know, in the Air Force, and they all get these green feet on their ass. And of course, I was bragging.
Is that so they can identify them? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But in Vietnam, so where it came from is in Vietnam, the Blackhawks would land in pairs on these rice fields. And when they would go off, it looked like like Jolly Green Giants. So that's their special operator tat. anyways, we're in Vegas. My brother goes to the casino, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm in the Air Force. I was like, oh, cool. My brother's in the Air Force. He was like, what does your brother do? Does he fly jets? And I was like, no, it's way cooler. He's like, way cooler than flying jets? He's like, yeah, he's a crow. He's a combat rescue officer. He's like, your brother's not a crow. I was like, yeah, he's in the 58th. He's like, he's not in the 58th. I'm like, yeah, he is. So he comes back from the bathroom, and I'm like, hey, this guy's in the Air Force too. He's like, oh, that's cute. He's like, I'm in the Air Force. And he's like, what do you do? And Travis is like, I'm a crow. And he's like, no, you're not. And Travis dropped his pants. The other guy drops his pants, and then they kiss butt cheeks together. That's my, so I'm like, man, if I get a tattoo, I have to get a matching one
So
in the
you can
event.
touch butt cheeks.
Exactly. Other than tattoos, though, what did you think your life was going to be like? Like, were you going to be a musician? Were you going to be like in a cubicle?
I never wanted to be in a cubicle, for sure. I did that for a while, and it was pretty soul crushing, honestly.
It has to be, right? Because you're in the box. And
Yeah, and part of it too is like I don't like the politics of an office, like at all. But playing, people really do enjoy that though, where they play the game of like you kiss up to so and so, or this and this, or you have this level of influence. I'm not into any of that.
That's corporate though,
Yeah,
right?
that's corporate life. So I've worked and like I kind of like fell into design. I originally thought I was going to go into ministry.
No way.
That was like I worked for, I like interned at the church where I got saved, and I was like, this is awesome. I want to be like a youth pastor or whatever. And then
With like middle school, high school.
high school, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you hang out with the middle schoolers. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do it.
Dude, they're awesome, man.
They
I
are
just
awesome,
had
but they're
14 at my house for a pool party. And I taught them what dude
they
soup is.
destroyed your house.
Yeah, they absolutely destroyed it. It's funny. Like they were having Dr. Peppers, and Tracy came down. She was like, "Are you watching this?" I'm like, "No, I don't try to watch what they're doing." They're literally like shaking Dr. Peppers and trying to see if they can drink it.
Of course they are.
As because that's what middle
It's
school is
just boys.
like.
That's boys.
Yeah, but I taught them what dude soup is. You know what dude soup is?
No, what it's-
Bunch of dudes in a hot tub. They're like, I was like, now you have to teach me something which is gray loot. That's what the kids are saying. Gray loot is a what's that game that the kids are playing now?
Fortnite.
Fortnite. So gray loot is like when you get a gun and it's gray, it's like lame. It's a lame gun. Lame gun. So gray loot is anything that's lame. Like you walk into your pantry and there's nothing to eat. It's nothing but like Lay's potato chips. And you're like, that's gray loot, bro. But I love hanging out with the middle schoolers. So anyway, shout out to the...
Dude, I'm not cool anymore. I hear things like that, and I'm like, I'm so out of the zeitgeist of what's happening. I have no finger on the pulse of
That's what you have me for. That's why we're
culture
friends.
anymore. Yeah. I'll just call you up and be like, what does this mean?
Yeah. I'm your guy. I'm your guy.
I used to, though, like when I was doing like all the, like when you hang out with high schoolers. So I interned in the church, and I like went to go.
How much did that pay?
Nothing. It was,
I've heard that.
yeah. Then I went to go work for Young Life, which is also very similar. Like
Yeah.
you make no money. And I had gotten a job with Young Life. I was going to move to Canada. I was supposed to go like work at a camp in
No
Canada. I was going to live in Canada in the summers and then be in Washington State for the wintertime because it's like the camp's closed. So they needed somebody to like guide like rafting or kayaking trips. And then in the wintertime would help like market the camp so they could have people come in and do events like retreats, that sort of corporate sort of things. And 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave, I tore my MCL. So I was like, I was supposed to go do 6 months of training and get like wilderness EMT certified. You got to get all these like certifications, like Swiftwater Rescue, all these other things. Couldn't do it because I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So they told me like, oh, you'll still have the job a year later because you can't start the summer season. So we'll hit you back next year. And I, at a year later, had started, at that point, was like full blown into the design thing. I had like dropped out of school, was not going to, I'd like run out of money for school. And I was like, I don't want to take a loan. I had already gotten a job like doing some of this design stuff in a cubicle. So I was like, let's see how far this goes. And here we are.
So you got a job without a college degree?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I don't recommend it necessarily. Like,
Why though?
well, I think college is, I'm not that I'm special. I just think like I can learn. I love learning.
Yep.
So like I will learn stuff and can pick it up. And sometimes people need a good place to fail. And I think that's like what college is great for, is that you can go and fail without the risk of like, oh, you failed and lost your job. You know, you've lost your livelihood.
That's $100,000 failure though, right?
Yeah. But if you fail, you can still like shift gears and it's not like a total loss. You know,
Yeah.
like losing a job can sometimes be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope my kid goes to school.
I'm against it. Just because of what it's become, right? It's
Well, I would argue now it's a lot different than it's ever been.
And my
It's too expensive.
Yeah, it's way too expensive. And like I had a great like conversation with my brother about it because he's like, dude, like think about the relationships that you have because of college. And I'm like, yeah, like I agree. It was good that I went to Auburn, but when I left Auburn and didn't graduate, I had $25,000 worth of student loan debt. I was marrying my high school sweetheart, right? So her and I are, you know, basically moving in together, and she's taking on this debt with me, right? Because now
Right,
we're one. And like her parents did a great job. Her grandparents saved money for her college, so she was able to go for free. Her parents are doing that for our kids, which is a blessing, obviously. But bringing that into a marriage is like, I mean, it wasn't tough on her, and luckily I got a really great job. Like, even though I didn't have a college degree, but I like go back and forth. Like, is it good? Is it not? Like, out of state to me is like, it's not like, there's no reason that you should have $120,000 college education.
No, I wish that they would get them more excited about their actual careers, especially when you're young. If you could get someone to understand, like, well, you need this now. Like, you need to understand this now because you're going to use it later on in life. Like, I would have taken English way more seriously if someone could have helped me connect. Like,
How English?
you're going to write all the time, and you got to be like a really good communicator, even just with simple stuff like email and being clear. You know, that sort of stuff is like really hard to do. And I figured it out, but I wish I had like
like
figured
this
it
is
out
how
way
you're
sooner. I think I would have been better off. You know
if you want to be a marketing guy, like you have to write like advertisements, and you basically have to create. And so this is why you want to take this English class. I mean, 10th grade, dude, Mr. Terrell, like teaching me geometry, right? Triangles and squares. I'm literally like, I remember vividly telling Ellen and Kelly, I was like, Mom and Dad, like, I'm never going to use geometry. Like, who would ever need to find the area of triangles and squares
all the time?
every day? Every day I use geometry. It's like wild. But if they would have said like, hey, it would be really cool to be in the trades because this is how, like, I just thought I was finding the area of triangles and squares and circles. It's like, hey, if you want to measure something one day, let's say you want to be a roofer, like you need to know how big the roof is. How do you do that? You use geometry.
Right. I think, you know, my education was so focused on like, you just make it to the test, you know, like you just have to make it to the graduation. I can't even remember what it's called, but like that test they confirm to see if you've learned it.
The final?
Yeah, not even the final for the course.
Midterm?
It's like the before you can graduate high school type of test. It just felt like everything was leading up to that, or like taking the SAT or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like, well, none of that really matters. As soon as you have like a year, that was so mind blowing to me. Is like as soon as I had enough college credits, it's like all the SAT and all that other stuff. Like they just didn't care. So it was like, well, that just felt like a waste
Of time.
Yeah, it was silly
So what do you do now?
to learn.
They're like, no. Like, what do you do? Like, okay, so you have a cross tattoo, and like we're back to that, right? Like, did you know what you're doing now is like what you always wanted to do?
I started doing design because I was a punk kid, so I was like, you know, skater, and thought I was super edgy and all those.
Those
things, which I still look at this shirt. I still
Yeah,
am.
dude, that ain't great loot.
But this is a purple loot.
That's
shirt
purple loot for sure.
I had taken a class in school and had done, it was like a design and printmaking class. So you'd learn the design stuff, and then you learned how to operate a real commercial printer. So that was it. That I just thought it was interesting. It was like an alternative to taking like shop or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But I liked doing the stuff on the computer, and then simultaneously, this sentence dates me. I had friends who were in a band, and they were like, we need someone to design our MySpace page. And I was like, oh, I can do that. So it's just, you know, it just kind of fell into it that way, because I was like, I've always liked the computer, goofing off and doing stuff. But the design was interesting because it's like, kind of combine those things.
Yeah.
Where like you're using the computer as a tool versus the, drawing something by hand. Right.
Or typing something out.
Exactly. After I tore my MCL, I was like, well, I've got to do something to make money, because I'm like, I've run out of all the money I had for school. Didn't want to take out a loan. And so
That's so smart too, man. Like
I didn't know at the time, like it just happened to work out, you know.
But why didn't did your parents instill that in you? Like not taking out a loan? Like, cause everyone's like, you have to have a college
really
degree.
Fraught. Like it was a fraught conversation with my mom. Like she did not want me. She wanted me to go to school. She wanted me to become like an MRI tech or something, just do anything, which now with like the advent of AI, I'm so glad I didn't do that. Cause like that job's arguably going away.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, I'll do this thing. And, I got a job with an agency, like a PR agency. So that's what I started doing. Cause they were just like, design this presentation. And then they didn't have a ton of work for me. So I would sit at the front desk and answer phones, which was pretty terrible. So there would be days where I wouldn't do anything because they wouldn't have work for me. And they would just need me to sit there and answer the phone. And it didn't ring very often. So at first I was like, oh, sweet. I can like watch videos on my computer. And that's cool
on
for
MySpace.
Exactly like a day.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm so bored. But I use that opportunity to just like keep goofing off and like learning all the Adobe tools and all that stuff. And then I'd gotten a little side hustle with Delta. I would like design reports. Like my friend's mom was like, we need someone to design a report. So I became a contractor with Delta. And that was super clutch because they gave me flight benefits.
No way.
So I could travel
anywhere
for free. And so I just would used to just go to the airport and be like, I'm just getting on a plane. And I would sit there and like freelance and do stuff or whatever from the plane and check out a city and then turn around and come home. So that was like a really fun time, especially being single and young. Like,
heck yeah.
No money though, bro. Like,
but you have free travel.
But I had a ton of free travel. So I would just take advantage of that. And after, I liked the design work. I didn't like the agency I was at, but after I did that for probably like a year and a half or so, there's a company called like Creative Circle. They're like talent recruiters for creative people. So I'd gotten in there and then they had connected me with like a PR agency. So still living at home, but now I'm like commuting to Sandy Springs every day. So like I grew up on the south side of Atlanta in Tyrone, Peachtree City area, if you're familiar. So like I would drive to the airport, hop on the train, and then take the train up and go to Buckhead and that's where it was, Buckhead. I would be at a PR agency in Buckhead, did that for a year, and then had a really
Where would you park at the airport?
There's just a MARTA station there you can hop in.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking like you would doing like parking in the hourly spot and jumping on MARTA.
Hemorrhaging money.
I made no money today. It was $1,000 this week to park at the airport.
So I was doing that. And then I learned a ton. I had an amazing creative director. So that's like your boss when you're, the hierarchy of creative fields. That's like the boss. So they tell you what to do. And like, they're giving you the vision and it's your job to go execute it. And he was a guy named Brandon, who's super smart, learned so much from Brandon. But the agency I was at was very strange politically. Like I said earlier, it's like I didn't like any of the games. So I had like some sick clients. Like I worked with like Walmart, Wendy's, and Georgia Pacific was one. Like I got to work on some like really huge accounts, which is really cool. But you would also get into meetings where you're like presenting an idea and then the account manager is like throwing you under the bus instead of just being like, real easy broad strokes. Like, hey, we'll take care of it. It's not a problem. We'll make this change. And they're like, oh, you did this wrong. You did this. And I just like could not stand the politics of it. And did that for almost a year. And they had told me, because I was through this like recruiting agency, right? You're contracting now, but you're going to move into full-time work. And they kind of just dangled this carrot over and over and over again. We'll be like, oh, we'll be full-time. And like, I really needed the money and I really needed the benefits, right? Sure. Being like full-time. The upside of being a contractor though, is I had unlimited overtime. So they would ask me sometimes to like work on projects over the weekend and stuff. And it was clutch because you make like time and a half. I make killer money. And Katie and I are dating at this point. My wife and I are dating. And they called me on a Friday. Can't remember the client. I can, but I'm not going to name names. But they were like, hey, we need your help designing this. The client wants you to design this presentation. It has to happen over the weekend because their meeting is Monday. Can you do it? And I was like, send it to me. I'll figure it out. And so they sent it to me. I was like, yep, I can get this done. And I told them from the jump, like, hey, I'm going to Katie and I are driving to Athens to go to like a concert, I believe. And it was just like, hey, I'm going to be working on this in the car. I'm going to be out of pocket Friday night, but I'll have time like Saturday afternoon to finish it. I'll send you like the first couple things Friday to see what you think. I'll finish it on Saturday. And then if you have any edits you need, Sunday afternoon, I can like knock those out. So I did exactly that. I sent them the first couple of things Friday. They emailed me back and they're like, this is great. Continue. Finished it on Saturday. I was like, we're all done. Asked them, they're like, hey, this is great. Followed up with them Sunday. You have any tweaks? Can I jump on anything? And they're like, nope, we're all good. We're all set for Monday. I thought everything was great. But I walk into the office on Monday and my creative director is like, I don't know what you did, but the client is like super pissed. They're like furious with how things played out. And I'm thinking at the time, just being like on my phone, like, what, did I miss a call? Did I miss like a text? Like,
Crushed it.
Something's going on. I'm in trouble at this point, right? And so I had a meeting with a client later on that afternoon, and I was like, I'll just I'll get on the meeting and apologize and see what we can do to like triage this. And so I get on the meeting. The first thing I do is just like follow my sword. I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. I don't know what went wrong. I hear, from what I understand, y'all are very upset and it didn't like accomplish what you wanted. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, things are good. And that was just, at that point, I was like, something's wrong. Like, I've not, like, they're lying to me or my boss is lying to me. Like, someone's not telling me the truth. I felt really stupid, right? Because I was like, oh, well, sorry, I must have gotten like the wrong news. And so I go back to my boss. I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, dude, they're really mad. I was like, well, they're not, because
I just talked to him
and like, they seem fine. And that was what they needed. So like, I don't know who's setting me, like, I need someone to set me straight because I can't fix something that's like, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Right. It's like, I want to fix it, but like someone's got to set me straight about like what it is. And if it's, redoing it or like picking up something else for them, like I'll handle it as best I can. And right after that conversation, all my assignments got pulled from me. And so because I was a contractor, if I'm just sitting in the office, you're billing to the company and they don't want that. So they were like, you can go home. And so every day I'm like hopping on this call with all the creative teams across the country being like, I'll take on whatever work you'll give me.
You think he was intimidated by you?
No, I think like they didn't want me there and they pushed me out. So like I'd hop on this call and they were just like, no, we don't have anything. You're good. And so I like didn't work for a while, which is really crazy. And then I got a call randomly from Arby's. It was like,
shout out to the roast beef sandwiches, Kings.
We found your portfolio and want to talk to you. And I was like, cool. Yes. Cause I wasn't making any money. I mean, that was just a wild job. Like at one point,
are you like writing advertisements? Are you writing like
I wasn't on
menu?
I wasn't on that team, but I would do any sort of like anything related to PR or related to internal like Arby's events. I would do, but that's like things with Katie and I are getting way more serious at this point, right? And Arby's is in Sandy Springs, and so I'm still living on the south side of town. I've moved out at this point, but I'm still living on the south side of town, like having to commute up. Sometimes when the train's broken, it's like 3 hours and it was just soul crushing. So I was like, this just doesn't make any sense. Katie works at the church down there.
Yeah.
Like she's really invested in her job. I didn't want to take her away from that. And I was just like, I got to do something different.
Yeah.
As much as I like this and the people were great, it was not working out personally. I quit that job.
So you quit Arby's.
Yeah.
Which brings us to, I guess,
started doing my own thing for a while. And this was like not good for my very stoic soon to be father-in-law, right? I've already got tattoos now.
The attorney is so against that.
Unemployed. He's not happy. So
you're about to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
you ask for the hand?
I had already asked for the hand when I worked at Arby's. And
oh, okay. So he's like corporate America.
And he's like, you're good. And then like, I think 2 months later, something like that, I quit. Which he was not stoked about.
Yeah.
Started my own thing for a while. I found like another business partner, but that venture turned out to be no good. Wasn't a great person to work with. Like I'd signed like the formation, form an LLC, and he like had taken that, but filed different paperwork where it was just his. So it's like the trust was completely broken. And so I had went to go work at a coffee shop, and that was like super back. I had like taken all these steps backwards, right? Working at a coffee shop was like I call it like I got my MBA, like my mop bucket attitude, where you just have to like deal with it. Like it was so terrible.
Yeah.
But that put such a fire.
At like a local coffee shop?
I could like walk to it from our house.
Oh, that's sick.
Which was cool. But I was like, I've taken some like real missteps
Yeah.
career wise. I haven't moved laterally. I've moved like way down
Yeah.
where I need to be. A friend, one of Katie's, she's like her sister, had gotten me a job to jump in as a designer on this company that does virtual staffing. So they were a couple of years ago, they would hook you up with like an assistant or like a bookkeeper or something like that.
Yeah.
So she'd gotten me a job there in the marketing team. And that I was there for almost like 5 years. That's where I really learned.
No way.
I mean, I loved it. It was awesome. Like, they're great people. It was just, I learned so much. Like, I adore
The biggest
my old
lesson you
boss
learned from there was,
oh, just like it was such a net positive. It's hard to just summarize it
Yeah.
in one big lesson. I would say like that's where I really learned the like strategy side of marketing and like the holistic, like we're going to run a campaign and you're going to talk to people like through email. You're going to hit them here. You're going to hit them here. You're going to hit them here from like an ad. Right. And like all these messages have to connect to make sense. And they all have like a unified call to action where you're trying to get people to take the next step. And it was really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Start with a company too. And there's like, I think there was like 50 people when I started. And by the time I left, it had like tripled.
Holy
so it was really
smokes.
fun to be a part of something that like
grew and grew.
grew.
Yeah.
And it was just so crazy. Like I think at one point, I think the most leads we ever did was like 800 leads or something in a month. Just stuff like that. It was like super crazy to be a part of. Like,
Yeah. So that leads us to, I think, where we're going to go in the conversation. Like, so like either personally or professionally, right? We all have these moments in our life where we have to hit the reset button and we have to do a 180, right? So you're working at this awesome, fun place, 5 years, right? It's like everything. And then something happened.
Yeah. So towards the end of that job, my mother-in-law, Lily, as you mentioned earlier, like she had got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And I think it was like January to September. It was like from diagnosis to like September, and she passed. And that was just like such a crazy time. And I was like not taking care of myself work-wise. I had not figured out like any sort of balance or like with work and life at all. And so I was already feeling like pretty burnt out. She passed. I then switched gears. Kate and I decided we're going to adopt, which was like a crazy process to begin with. So we start that. We adopt my son, who's amazing. And then we move. I switched jobs the first time to go back into agency world, which was great, but I was still so burnt out and like not taking care of myself. I think COVID happened during that point. By the time COVID happened, it was like, just add it to the chaos. Like it was just like, whatever, like that was to me, it was just happening in the background from like all the other chaos
Crap that was.
Right. And, during those COVID years, I like really stopped taking care of myself. Like,
Which means what?
I'd really enjoyed like partying and having a good time. And that kind of comes with like agency life in general. Like you work hard, you play hard. And I had like really gotten out of control. Like COVID, like I would smoke weed or like drink every now and then. And then during the COVID years, it turned into like an every night, every day thing.
Well, we had nothing else to do.
They're true.
Yeah.
But I'm just like getting high all the time and playing Call of Duty at night, and then I would just like wake up and work. And I was already working from home with this other company.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was more about like the social isolation than anything else.
Yeah.
It's like I had this like really awesome social life where I go have coffee with people or I'd hang out with folks. Like I had really tried to get out of the house because I was already working from home, and that went away. And so it just turned into like, well, I'll just, numb myself out all the time, still not taking care of myself or balancing, putting work in its rightful place at all. Right. And then from there, I had like switched jobs twice at this point. And the last,
you were switching because like just wasn't a good fit.
it just wasn't a good fit, or it's like the last place I worked, I could like walk to it from our house in Merida. I live like right off the square in Merida, which is cool. And I could walk to it, but like business wise, it was so crazy. Like they would pitch to clients and then like not follow up with them. Like at one point, like they'd miss a paycheck. There's just stuff like that. I was like, I can't deal with this. And I was done. I did not want to do marketing anymore. Like at that point, I'd been doing it for like, I don't know, 12 years. And was just like, I think I'm pretty much done working on the computer. In fact, I wanted to become a barber because it's like, I'll do something with my hands. That's like,
low taper
you're
fades.
done. That's the one thing I don't like about marketing is like, you're never done.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, as soon as the one campaign ends, you just need to start another one.
Yeah.
You know, like that website we built is awesome, but it has a shelf life. Eventually it's going to be like, this is terrible. And we have to start over. And that's cool. But it's also like, it wears on me sometimes. Where you're just like, oh man, I just
can never get ahead.
Just want to have like a check box off one project and be done. And I was like, maybe if I cut hair, you know, that'll be nice. Just
for 3 weeks.
Just be like done. And
did you go to barber school?
I thought about it.
Okay.
And Katie, my wife, is like, I really don't want you to, like, we were, you know, young kid, and all those things. She's like, I really want you to try again. And I'm still at this point, like, numbing myself out every night on smoking weed and drinking. But then I had started like a dear friend of ours from church. He and I had always talked about starting an agency at one point. And so he was like, I had hit him up and he's like, all right, I think I'm ready. I'd want to scale what I have. And I was freelancing a little bit on the side and was like, let's just merge these two things together. And so that's when we started Hazard House, which was 2 years ago to since yesterday.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that was like life-changing because then having the stakes of owning, I think I needed the stakes to be higher to like, you know, you get this, you're a business owner. It's like pressure's on. Like if it fails, it's your fault.
Yeah.
But the reward is there too, where if you like work hard, it pays off.
Yeah.
And that's what I was missing from being in these other positions with these other agencies. It was like, well, you just work really hard. They just give you more work. Like your pay doesn't go up. You don't get more freedom or more influence or anything like that. Like you're just where you're at. And you're still in that same cycle of like, well, one project's over, just get the next one. And like so it was just really wearing on me. Hazard House really like.
Did he have the name or you guys came up with the name together?
We came up with it together.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And so it was such a fun time. It was like a lot of freedom in that. And that really refreshed me to be like, okay, cool. I think I can do this design marketing thing forever. And now that AI's come along, it's blown up our industry altogether. Yeah. Right. So it's been really fun to learn that stuff and like figure out how to integrate it. We've moved into like creating systems for people and like all this cool stuff. It's like very exciting and fun. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm still not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, smoking whenever I possibly can. And like, I'm also doing a lot of this in secret too. It's just like, that's how you know you're not doing what you need to do. It's like, you're constantly hiding it. And you're like, oh, let me sneak around and do it over here. Or like, wait till everyone leaves and then I'll go smoke and then do this. And that was just no good. And I had really gotten to the point where I was like, this isn't working. And I don't know why. Like I was just such in a fog. Like I don't know why I can't keep all the plates spinning.
Yeah.
But like I can't do it. And it came to a head where like my business partner was like, what's going on with you? Like, do you have another job? Like, are you taking this seriously?
Yeah.
Which was totally valid. I was like, I have to figure something out. Like this is just not whatever I have built. It's like Hazard House is good. The family's good. It's like all these good things are happening, but like I'm not personally good at all. I'm like a big journaler. Do you journal?
I have a couple journals. I don't journal regularly, which I need to do.
I know it sounds so lame to be like, dear diary, like writing every day sounds really lame. And it kind of is, but like, I'm so grateful I picked up that habit. I went through like 10 years of journals that I've like never read. Like in this, like 2 years ago when you're like battling this, I was like, I'm going to go read all these. I've never read them. I got this idea from a book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, life-changing book. It's all about like recovering your creativity.
Yeah. And
so I was like, let me start here. I just feel like my creativity is kind of weird. And someone had recommended it to me and I was like, oh, I'll try it. And it's like literally a 12-week program where you're like walk yourself through all these exercises of like getting back to like your inner artist, which I would argue like we all have.
Yeah.
And a big proponent of this book is like you write every day. You literally write 3 pages by hand every day. And it's like a thought stream. You don't edit it. You don't even look at it for the first couple of weeks. And so I finally got to the point where you start going back and I was like, oh, I'm going to go back and look at what I have been writing for all these years.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating to read, at this point, it was like, a year ago plus, just reading back the year prior, it was just like, oh, I've been saying the same thing for like literally every 3 months, every 3 or 4 months, it'd be like, I can't continue this way. I cannot live this way. And like,
almost subconsciously, like writing it, like knowing you're writing it, but like not really knowing you're writing it.
Right. But not even, I was just such in a fog and like so stoned all the time, arguably, that like I just did not understand. I just could not identify the patterns or take a step back long enough to be like, this something else is going on. Like the reason you want to drink and smoke all the time is like there's something else happening that you're not dealing with. And it was just eye-opening to see 10 years of like, you've not dealt with any of these. I didn't deal with my mother-in-law's death. I didn't deal with like, all the craziness of adoption. I just like just shoved it. You'd asked earlier, like, do you just bottle that stuff up? And it's like, yeah. Dude, absolutely. Just shove it down.
Yeah. But you write 3 pages, in your journal and
yeah. But it's like trying to hold balloons underwater, eventually it's going to pop up. And I'm doing this and then simultaneously having conversations with a dear friend who is like a year and a half in front of me about getting sober. And he was like, he was never saying like, you need to stop and become like a sober person. But he would ask me these like really tough questions. Like I would tell him things like, I feel like I can't do anything right. Like I can't keep all the plates spinning. He's like, what do you do when you're good enough isn't good enough? Which is a crappy question, but it's a great question too, to be like, oh,
such a good question.
It sucks to hear.
So what
that.
was your response?
Well, my response was like, I need to change. Like, it all came to a head Memorial Day of last year. So I'm sober since Memorial Day for a year. I had we'd gone out with some friends to a brewery, and dude, I think I had like 20 drinks or something like that. And then went home and smoked like 5 times. So like I'm like blitzed.
Yeah.
And I remember being like vividly, it's like almost 3 a.m. I'm like rolling up again to smoke. And I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing this. I have no idea why. And it didn't work. Like that was the thing, is it had stopped working for a long time. It
numbs the pain for a minute.
Yeah. But now it didn't work. I was just I would drink or smoke and I'd have a good time until I'm by myself. And then when I'm by myself, I get sad and like, super depressed and would not understand why I was so upset. And so like I was just like, this isn't working at all. I'm hiding all of this, which is weird. Like that's how I know I have a problem. But also it's like this business I've started, it seems like it's going really well. And like family is good. Like I have this amazing wife and like beautiful son. Like the life should be good.
Yeah.
But like this path I'm on is like they're like opposite directions.
Yeah.
And I had decided at that point, like I think I'm just gonna stop for a while, and then
How you did it by yourself?
Well, yeah. Well, I told some people, and then like I kind of decided at the time, like, well, maybe I'll just quit for like a month, and then like slowly just introduce it. And after,
because that totally works.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But I knew I was like, I need to come clean with Katie. So after coming clean, I was like, no, I'm done. Like I just realized like how much damage I have done.
Because she didn't know.
No, she had no idea.
Because you were sneaking away. And
yeah,
dude,
and so it's like that was such like a. I mean, she's amazing. Like
of course,
the facts that she puts up with my crap is incredible. But like that was just such an eye opener to be like, oh, I've done like a ton of damage, not just to her, but also to myself. Where you just realize like went to AA, and that was super eye opening. I wouldn't say I've had the craziest experience, because like you go to AA and you hear some dudes who have been they've been like alive longer than me, but like I've lived more life than them because they've just been in jail. Yeah. Stuff like that, where you just realize like, oh, that's totally me. Like I would totally, I will do that in a heartbeat.
Are you still active in AA?
No, like see the value in it.
Yeah.
Especially
in the infancy of like getting sober.
I think it's like an amazing program and people should go. Like, especially if you're questioning at all, if you have a problem, just go once and like you'll understand real quick. Or even if you don't go, read the book. Like I read the whole book and was like, I'm this dude.
It's the big blue book. What do they call it? The blue book?
The big book or something?
Yeah, the big book. That's right.
Yeah. So I read the big book and I was like, nope, I can't do this. Like I'm just gonna, unless I like am sober, I will just like pick this back up again and I'll be in the same spot. But there's no way. Cause like I loved getting high and drunk. Like I just loved how I felt being on drugs or anything else.
Anytime you can detach from like the reality of like dealing with, death or dealing with hard things like adoption and all the other things, owning a business. I mean, dude, I was like Captain Numb the Pain, especially with like the money side of this, because like I have all these families that are like depending on this actually working, and then I have people that like I've done work for that haven't paid me, and it's like, man, if I could just get to the whiskey at the end of the night, like I'll forget about all those things and at least I'll calm down. And then the next day I wake up and I'm hungover and
still have the same problems
because I haven't dealt with it. But I would pass out in the basement. Like I wouldn't even sleep with my wife in the same bed because like I needed like 3 or 4 3-finger whiskeys and like pass out in the basement, numb the pain, and then crap, I'm on this endless cycle. So like looking back, is there anything that you wish you would have known before you got sober or before you left this corporate?
I don't know. I think like I wish I'd seen sooner. Like I think I wish I would have gone back and identified the patterns like way sooner than later. Cause I think I would have stopped it in those tracks. Like it's just so like, I don't have any regrets. Like I try to like live in a way where I don't have regrets, but I do think like if I could go back, I wish I'd had it started to figure that out way sooner, that like, this is not going to work. Something I say now is like, just don't borrow from tomorrow. And it's like, all I did was borrow from tomorrow for like 10 years. So like when I can go back.
What does that mean?
Like you just said, that's what your story was a good example. It's like you go have 3 fingers of whiskey and then like you wake up, you still have the same problems instead of just like dealing with
that
the thing
in
or
the moment,
figuring out how like, oh, well, like owning your own business is super stressful, but instead of like figuring out how to manage the stress, you instead are like, I'll just numb myself to the stress. But like, so your stress level hasn't really changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you borrow from tomorrow. It's like, well, I'll numb myself out now. And then tomorrow you wake up with the same problems.
It never got changed.
I'll just try and solve the problem as best I can. And then like each day it gets a little smaller, You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I mean by borrowing from tomorrow. Or even just having like good times with the family. It's like you just wake up and be in a fog for so long.
Yeah. So was it the guy that like is the buddy of yours that's just asking these hard questions, right? He's like, that's what was kind of the motivating factor.
It was such a big, that was a big motivator for sure. I think seeing the damage that I did by like hiding everything and sneaking around was like pretty bad. But also just getting real with myself and realizing like you are addicted and that's like not gonna change. Because I'll just pick it right back up.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cliche, but addiction really is like a slippery slope. 50-year-old me, like when I was a kid, I would have been like, oh, this will never happen to me.
Yeah.
It'll never happen to me.
It sneaks up on you.
And then you're like, no, it is happening to you. And then going to AA and realizing like, all these dudes, I've done like everything they've talked about.
Yep.
Like that was really eye-opening to be like, I'm not different at all. So
I mean, the story is a little different, right, for each person, but it's literally the same thing. It's like I'm hiding myself, or like I do this to numb the pain from whatever trauma that I've never dealt with.
Right.
And that's the easy thing to do. It's just like get drunk or get high and like forget about it for that moment and then wake up the next day and just do it again. Oh, I'm starting to think about it. Let's get high, get drunk.
Oh, today was really stressful. I need to chill out. So just like go to the old standby.
It's the selfishness. Like we're created, like God created us selfish, right? Like out of the womb, we start crying. We're like, oh, let's feed them. Like, so like innately that's how, so it's like, I have this problem and I need to numb the pain to make it go away. And so much of our lives, it's like, yeah, that's okay. It's like, oh, let's go out and have drinks. It's like, well, we can go out and have drinks and not have to throw alcohol in it.
Oh yeah, we can just go have fun.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Is your life better now than?
Oh, it's like 1,000 times better for sure. Absolutely. I just would not go back to that. Like, I didn't even mention this. Like, my dad passed when I was real little, and then becoming a father. I had like thought too when I was younger, like, I've moved past this. And then when I became a father, that opened a whole new set of like things to grieve that I was not anticipating at all. I was like, this isn't, it sucks. It was bad, but it didn't sting anymore. You know what I mean? And then I became a dad.
But it was still there.
And yeah, it's still there. It's just under the surface.
Down.
And then as soon as I became a dad, it's like, oh, I'm starting to like piece together everything that I missed. And my dad died very suddenly from like a brain aneurysm. It's not like he did anything. It's not his fault, but it's still just like.
How old were you?
5. So now I'm like, my son's literally the same age that I was. And so that was really eye-opening to be like, oh, you're not dealing with any of this. Like, I was not touching this stuff. I was like, I'll just numb myself out. And then becoming a dad, it was just like, oh, it's very apparent what I missed out on. And I was like, I have to just deal with this. I can't continue down the cycle or I'm going to end up like,
it's so funny. Like
dead in the ditch at 50.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's not even funny, but every person that I have talked to after they've gotten sober has been like, man, my life is so much better.
Oh yeah.
Like no one's ever said like, oh, life sucks. Like in the moment it sucks a little because it's like, okay, we're all going to go out and party in Buckhead. And it's like, how do I party in Buckhead? But it's like you go and party in Buckhead with these people that like aren't going to remember them partying in Buckhead. And it's like, what's the point of this?
Yeah. I would say that's like the hardest part is like the social aspect of it. It's weird. Because you're essentially saying no to like the oldest social convention ever, which is like share a drink with me, and you're like, no. So you're like automatically a pariah, which is a little strange. But like,
but is it strange with the people that you love and you want to spend time with, or is it strange with the people that you actually don't even really care about?
I think that's the thing. It's like for me, it was like I want to hang out with these people in the same way. Like I love fly fishing. I love going outside, and so like I would go fly fishing with my buddies, and like you drink beers and smoke weed all day.
Yeah.
Like, it's a great time standing in a river and doing that. And so like I wanted that to be the case when I would hang out with them again. But now I'm sober, and you're like, well, I want it to feel the same way, and it's like, but no, it's not. It's going to be totally different. But it's just different. It's not that it's bad.
Literally, man, we're like poisoning our bodies. When
I know.
It
wasn't bad. It was just different socially where you're like, oh, well, I'm not partying, but y'all can. Like, go for it.
Yeah, like no judgment, whatever. Like, I just can't have it.
And then they're weird, understandably, because I'm just like a different person, arguably.
Yeah.
And then it was just weird. And now we figured it out. Like, it's all good. But I had to relearn it too, where it's like I was like sad the first time I went because it was like, well, that didn't feel as fun. And it's like, yeah, but your fun before was like not real. You were just
it was make believe fun.
Tricked yourself.
You thought it was fun. What do you wish, like in closing, like what do you wish someone would have told you, like leaving like the corporate America thing and leaving, the drunkenness and getting high, like what do you wish someone would have told you?
I would say
like before it actually happened. I don't know if I did a great job of asking that question.
That's a good question. I think like it's tough because I just don't think you could, like what I would tell people is like something else is going on. And I wish someone had just been like, something else is going on. And this is like, being high all the time is a symptom of like this is the small stuff.
That's not normal. Yeah.
That's not it. Like, it's not good, but like there's something else, way more other things are going on. And I say that this is what I wish I known, but I don't know if I would have been able to hear it. I don't know if anyone can hear it. You know what I mean? Until you can see it for yourself. Like I don't see the point. Like I know people who I'm like, you should probably be sober, but I'm not going to tell them that because it's just like, they don't see it. So I don't want to be that person who they feel like is berating them for something that they can't even see. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. Like I had this conversation with a guy that was a drunk for like 30, 40 years. And I'll never forget when I was new in my sobriety, he was like, everyone calls me Shep. He was like, Shep, man, like I had this wife call me and she's like, now that I'm sober, she's like, you need to talk to your friend because he needs to get sober too. And he's like, I can't, like, it never works, right? Hey, I'm going to put you in rehab. Right? No. Like it only works when the guy that needs to go to rehab wants himself
to be in the rehab
and wants to be in the rehab. Like I'm tired of living this way. I'm tired of sneaking around smoking a J and getting drunk and all that stuff. Like you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, this isn't right. I'm like hiding this. I'm being sneaky. Like my family doesn't know, my wife, like whatever. Like that's the only way that it's going to work.
That's why I'm so grateful for my friend. Like, shout out to Mickey for hooking me up because he would just ask really good questions. It wasn't like you need to stop. It would just be like, well, I would tell him things like, well, I just feel like I'm not good enough, or this stuff isn't working. He's like, well, what do you do when it's not good enough? I would say I want to stop. He's like, well, what's stopping you from stopping? Just stuff like that. It's not being like, you need to be sober.
Yeah.
Which
the you statements never work.
Done.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh yeah. And it just got me thinking around like, oh yeah, this isn't serving me.
Would you say that you're being Mickey to someone right now?
No, not right now.
Yeah.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
I just think that, like for me, what I'm trying to do is I see a lot of people, especially creative people, like despairing. And I was the same way, where like you're caught in this virtue trap where it's like I felt like I was doing all the right things, but like it never worked. And I would just get in this spiral. It's like it doesn't work. And then I'm like numbing myself out on this stuff.
Yeah.
I try and try again. Like, let me do all the right things and check all these boxes, and like, oh, it doesn't work. And then I spiral again. So like, I love talking to creative people, but I think a lot of creative people have problems with
drugs and
substances,
alcohol.
Right? Because it's like, it's not something you can necessarily control, right? It's like you can't just like be creative and like turn a switch on.
Yeah.
It's like you have to get the like inspiration strikes you at the right time.
Yep.
And so sometimes people, I just see it's like, well, they work themselves to death because they're like trying to make it or whatever. And then simultaneously, they're just not taking care of themselves creatively.
Yep.
Like I take myself out on little creative dates where I'll like be alone, which is rad. And like, I love doing street photography. So I'll go take pictures by myself. And it's amazing how many dots you'll connect.
No way.
With work stuff while you're just doing something completely separate. And it's so nice to have, like, I love doing the creative work for clients, but it's work, right?
Yeah.
Like they have stuff, it's like, there's a goal it's business. Like they have goals to accomplish. And like,
yeah,
I don't have full say, which is fine. That's part of the game. But it's really nice to have something where it's like, no one touches this. I have complete control. And like, I don't even share it half the time because it's just like, that's not what it's for.
Yeah.
It's for me. That has been really, like, I love talking to creative people about that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so fun when you're like, well, what are you making for yourself? Like, if you're this artist, you can't just work on
other people's stuff.
Because like, you're missing out.
That's such a good point.
And like, you're not really taking care of yourself creatively. So that's really what I'm trying to do now. It's like, I have these coffee hangs at my house with creative people, and it's like, let's just all hang out. Like, we're all on the same team. Creative world is highly competitive. Like, no one really talks about that, but like, it's very dog eat dog, ego driven. And it's just fun to be like, I just think it's like, there's plenty of room at the top. Like, let's all be friends and know each other. And like, that's been really fun. So that's how I'm trying to be Mickey to other people. It's just like, be a resource, share the story. You know, we talked about this earlier. It's like, well, you know, why keep it a secret? You know, you just never know
how it's going to help someone.
It's going to connect the dots for someone else. Before you know it, you're being a Mickey to that person. It's like the butterfly effect, I should say, is from that. It's pretty wild to think about.
It is so wild. And I appreciate so much you making the time to do this.
Dude, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing is like, how can people get in touch with you? Like, hey man, like, I'm a creative guy. I'm battling this same thing. Like, how do I reach out to Garrett?
If you want to come to these coffee hangs, it's called the Acquired Taste Club.
Oh.
So if you go to acquiredtaste.club, that's the website. All my information's there. You can sign up to come hang. I'll send you an invite.
Awesome.
That's the best way to get in touch with me. I'm not really active on all the, so I should be more active on the socials.
I think it's going all right for you.
Yeah, I just think I did it for so long for other people. It's really hard to like turn around and turn the spotlight on myself.
Yeah.
And do it for for myself. It's just really hard.
Plus, your wife has like 100,000.
She's killing it. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, you do you, babe. Like,
Yeah.
you're killing it. So proud of her.
We can't have two of those like monster Instagram accounts.
No, we would
in one house.
Yeah. How are we supposed to capture all that content?
Awesome, man. Well, I'm so grateful for your friendship and your partnership to help us.
You too.
With
Yeah, this is awesome.
Everything we're doing.
I
And
really appreciate you as well. It's been so fun. And like, I hope just to continue. This is awesome.
yeah, me too, man. We always finish with a high five. If I can do this.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Obviously, Garrett is uber talented. If you don't believe me, check out our website and go to hazard.house. He is such a great guy. He has a great team behind him. So you don't just get to work with Garrett, you get to work with his whole team. But I really loved his story. I mean, obviously, being sober and getting sober and getting into sobriety is a huge thing and something that I've personally have witnessed, but it was cool to hear his story about personal and professional hard resets. Obviously, we're grateful that you listened, and if you liked it, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel because that helps. But also, more importantly, if you could tell someone about our roofing company, because that, to be honest, helps us pay the bills, and we need to pay the bills. So if you know someone that needs a roof repair or a new roof or a roof cleaning, gutter, anything to do with the exterior of the home, we would love the opportunity to meet them and provide them an estimate. So thanks so much for watching. Excited to see you on the next episode.